Look at the defense behind Domingo, and it's presented by Geico. With Judge off tonight, and Duhart, Gardner, and Frazier left to right in the outfield, and with Urshela off, it's LeMahieu, Torres, Odor, and Voigt. That's third to first. Sanchez behind the plate, and Domingo Germán as David Detail is on the mound. Amazingly, Ohtani is introduced to the crowd, and he gets a big hand here at Yankee Stadium. So he's hit 3 home runs in the first 2 games. So he will start tonight and lead off. Angels 38-41, and the Yankees are 41-38. We'll get into the Yankee lineup today in the bottom of the inning. Ohtani's ready. Germán is ready. Let's do it in the Bronx. First pitch is off the glove of Sanchez, all the way to the backstop, and we're underway. He's the first pitcher to bat leadoff since 1968. Cesar Tovar did for the Twins, but that was just one of those gigs where he was going to play every position. Tovar really not a pitcher, a position player. Germán is ready. Let's do it in the Bronx. David called him a unicorn. This is just really rare. It just doesn't happen.
It's like an extra challenge to make him warm up to pitch and then bat first. He just finished his warm-ups. We're going to make it doubly tough. We're not going to give you a few. We're not going to bet you fifth. We're going to bet you first.
The 2-1. Curveball. Swung on and missed 2-2.
It'd be interesting for me to know whether he goes through full batting practice the days that he does pitch. Obviously, I wasn't there out on the field. I don't even know with the Heat if they did hit, but if he goes through batting practice.
2-2. Paul, there was not much going on the field before the game. It's really, really hot here in New York City, so there really wasn't batting practice. That one just missed. So the count is full for Ohtani. And Germán deals. High fly ball. Left center. And Duhart and Gardner kind of nudge into each other, and Gardner makes the play for the first out.
Well, class in session right here. Brett Gardner's going to go over and say, you know, you got to listen. I'm your center fielder. If I call it, go behind me. I mean, simple things. Obviously, Duhart learning the position, but some things are simple enough.
It's like he didn't want to take his eye off the ball while it was in the air, and an experienced outfielder, as you know better than anybody, Paul, will actually look, maybe glance away from the flight of the ball to see the center fielder.
Here's Anthony Rendon. And a strike. Home plate umpires John Lipka. Andy Fletcher at first, Scott Barry at second, and the crew chief, Dan Iasonia, is over at third. One and one. Two and one. Three and one. We talked about the heat. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tee of the Yankees. It's 95, but it feels like 99. 31% chance of rain, 41% humidity, and wind out of the southwest at 6 miles per hour. And that's a walk to Rendon. Time for the keys to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers. What do you have, Paulie?
Well, it is showtime. That is his nickname, and this is the Ohtani experience for the first time facing the Yankees as a pitcher. And is it back? Talking about the offense, 11 runs last night was a season high, but can you keep that going against a tough matchup and keep it close? I mean, they are kind of inching him along as a pitcher. 5.4 innings is all he averages. About 84 pitches a start is his average. So if you stay close, you can get into that bullpen.
0-1. 0-1 count on Jared Walsh. Yankees have 3 infielders on the right side. And the pitch to Walsh is outside, 1-1. Rendon leads off first, held there by Voit. Just underway here at the stadium. That one is looped into shallow left field, coming on Andujar, and he makes the play and fires to first as Rendon gets back.
A good break there. As an outfielder coming in, you want to scream, yell, get those infielders out of the way. You don't want any complications in an easy play. Andujar did that well.
Well, here's Phil Gosselin. Odor shades up the middle. A lot of the right side of the infield is open for the righty swinging Gosselin. And there's a curveball strike, 0-1. Swing and a miss way out of the strike zone. He chased 0-2.
Well, that is the pitch that Termon can get a lot of chases out of the strike zone if he does pitch ahead. And Coney, I mean, to see hitters like that, swinging at a ball, bouncing in the dirt, obviously do not pick up that pitch out of his hand.
Seemed like he was in swing mode. Might as well try that one again.
Chopped to a third. Foul ball. Over the head of Voit, but Voit knew it was foul and didn't go up for it. Ohtani seems like he's standing in front of one of the fans in the wall of the dugout just to cool down.
Seems like a good idea right about now.
Now, Red Auerbach would have shut those down in the visitors' dugout.
That's right. Here, take this salt tablet. Let's eat some salt.
During the pregame, I looked in the booth and I saw Audrey without a coat on, so it's got to be 90 plus. If she doesn't have a fur coat on there, it's at least over the 90s.
Check swing. He does not go. 2-2.
Would have been a double.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on first base, just underway here at the stadium. High fly ball, right field and deep. Frazier back, he's on the track, he's at the wall. See it. A 2-run home run for Gosselin the other way, and it's 2-0 Angels.
Coney, I can't explain this first inning, but Yankee pitchers having all kinds of trouble trying to get through the first. Gosselin kind of a spot start. That is his 3rd home run of the year. But boy, all of a sudden, you go from getting out of the inning with nothing to down 2-0.
the year for Goslin. Pitch to Fletcher is a strike.
Talked about command and control. The command is the ball, once again, a fastball drifting towards the middle of the plate.
Dribbled slowly to third, charging LeMahieu. Fires to first, and they just get Fletcher for the final out. Nice play by DJ LeMahieu. Angels get 2 runs, and the New York Yankees are coming to bat. Goslin gives the Angels a 2-0 lead. Now here's the Yankees starting lineup that will face Shohei Ohtani, and it's brought to you by TikTok. It starts on TikTok. Now you take a look at this lineup, and you see Miguel Andujar red hot in the last 6 games. Kind of a shock to everybody that Aaron Judge and Gio Urshela not in the lineup. And Aaron Boone said they needed a day, and in Judge's case, he needed a day. I thought he really needed a day badly today. And we can talk about this as the game goes on, but that's 2 glaring omissions in that lineup against Ohtani.
Only the shadow knows, but it's just a day, I guess. And Shohei Ohtani, it's just a day for him too. Those numbers are really good across the board. Maybe the walks a bit. If you're looking for one thing about Ohtani, is maybe overall his command at times and center stage. Well, you knew that he'd be fired up to come to New York, and we've already seen it with the bat. Now we're going to see it on the mound, and he's got a power arsenal up to 100 miles an hour. An unbelievable split finger fastball that nobody can really hit, it seems like, when he gets it going. And you know, that's really what the difference is. Everybody thinks about the power, but that split finger fastball is a devastating killer finish pitch.
Well, he's got a lot of fans in this ballpark. He was cheered when he came up to lead off the game. And now we see him on the mound for the first time. LeMahieu will lead off, and the big right-hander deals inside. 1-0. That's 95 miles an hour. His fastball does touch 100. Not consistently, but he does get there. Two 2-0. And the pitch. There's a strike. Take a look at the defense behind Ohtani. It's presented by Geico. You've got Goslin in left, Lagares, who can go get it with anybody in center, Wards in right. Infield, Rendon, a quality third baseman. The whole left side is good. And then Fletcher and Walsh on the right with Suzuki behind the plate. Ohtani on the mound. 2-2. That was a great story today in The Athletic. Rustin Dodd. Yes. Really an in-depth story on Ohtani and how he got to this point, how he had a determination to be great in both things. Worth the read. And I thought the most jumping out line was, you know, it's hard to appreciate something that you've never seen before. Everybody, you know, says, well, Babe Ruth did this. Babe Ruth really didn't do this. His last 2 years at the Red Sox, he pitched and he hit home runs. But once he became a Yankee, he was a full-time hitter. Breaking ball misses high as LeMahieu works a walk. And even Babe Ruth, as a youngster, said, you know, I can do this now, but as I get older, you know, it's not able to be done.
Yeah, you get the sense that Babe Ruth didn't really want any part of doing both, and Shohei Ohtani is just the opposite. But if you're interested in an in-depth article about Shohei Ohtani, it's one of the best I've ever seen. Rustin Dodd did a fantastic job going back to high school, complete background on everything.
Guy has a single-minded purpose to be great. A lot of athletes do, especially at this level. There's Luke Voigt, and there's a strike.
Yeah, it was interesting to LeMahieu's 5 straight fastballs. Got to the full count and then went to an off-speed pitch. First one of the day for ball 4.
One thing to pay attention to, as we said, maybe the Achilles heel for Shohei Ohtani is command overall. He can walk a few guys. You can see up and in. Hello, Mr. Voigt. And home plate umpire John Libka is in the 94th percentile of accuracy, overall accuracy. So you can see that's going to be tight. You want to pay attention to that box, and anything around that box that's not in it, he's probably not going to call it. Top 6% of all umpires in terms of accuracy, according to that radar tracking system.
Missed outside. 3-1.
You know, Connie, it's interesting. The more accurate the umpire is, in my mind, is the better it is for the hitter. So, you know, the less accurate umpires are much more pitcher friendly, and the better umpires are hitter friendly.
Yeah, there's more pitches outside that box that are called strikes than the opposite.
3-1, and he walks Voigt. So 2 straight walks to open up the game for Ohtani. This is what Ohtani throws. The 4-seamer 53% of the time, splitter 19, slider 13, cutter 10, and he doesn't use the curveball that much. That's brought to us by StatCast 3D by Google Cloud. All right, so here's Gary Sanchez. First and second, nobody out. Yankees down 2-0. And Ohtani deals. That one gets away from Suzuki. And the runners move up.
And a total cross-up right there. Suzuki, a good defensive catcher, just kind of stabbed at this. Obviously, man on second base, first time you're going through signs, but didn't expect that one.
And immediately Ohtani took his hat off and looked at the card inside, so there was a change of signs that he didn't pick up. And that's unfairly scored a pass ball, but it is what it is. It hit his glove. Well, the Angels play the infield back, so they would give up a run on a ground ball. Well, he's all over the place, 2-0. You know, one of the big risks that the Angels take by having Ohtani hit and not having the DH, if he has a bad game on the mound, they're up against it because they only carry 3 players on the bench. And if he gets knocked out early, and they're going to have a conference on the mound right away with Jeremy Reed coming out, well, then every other pitcher is going to be penciled into that leadoff spot. And you're probably going to have to pinch hit for them every time up.
It seems like Joe Madden. Yeah, excuse me, Paul. It seems like Joe Madden's going for the highest degree of difficulty.
Yes.
Now, yeah, let's make this as tough as possible by batting him leadoff. So you got to make your warm-ups. It takes you 20 minutes or so to warm up as a pitcher before a game, and then you got to rush into the dugout and be the leadoff hitter, and maybe bat him third, 4th, maybe give him a little breather.
Now his thinking is I bat him leadoff and he's going to get up probably one more time than he would have if I bat him lower. But you're right, the degree of difficulty, it's up there. The 2-0. This is what Madden said about Ohtani. He said, this is Little League stuff. You're the best player on the team. You hit and you pitch, and you're the first in line for the ice cream cone.
I like that part. You know, he has had games where he started and then was taken out and gone to right field or either left field where they've kept his bat in the lineup. And that, to me, is like old school high school baseball. I mean, there were times where your arms were sore or whatever, but, you know, just go to another position.
2-2 on Sanchez. That was the best fastball so far at 96. Two. Outside, 3-2, one pitch away from loading the bases.
Speaking from experience, as a pitcher, you always say, maybe you're rushing, you have to slow down. But once your heart rate gets up, it's a hard thing to do.
3-2. Got a piece of a slider.
I'll tell you what, if you're Gary Sanchez, that's a tough pitch to adjust to. You've seen nothing but heat. Last pitch outside at 99, 3-2. You got to figure he's in trouble control-wise. Dead fastball. You get a slider.
Foul back.
It's what you call challenging a hitter. Here's my best. See what you can do.
So 7 pitches, 5 of them 4-seamers and then 2 sliders. Count 3-2, second and third, nobody out. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Angels lead 2-0. And he walked them, bases loaded on 3 straight walks by Ohtani. There are so many ramifications to an early hook. I mean, this does really complicate matters for the manager. Nobody warming in the Angels bullpen. Here is Stanton. Ohtani going from the stretch with the bases loaded. And he drops a slider in there for a strike.
Coney, that was his 20th pitch, and he hasn't even thrown his forkball yet or his split finger. I mean, has not been able to get ahead to get to his strikeout pitch.
That's his best fastball, 99 miles an hour. Been sitting at 95, but that was 99, 1-1. Fouled the slider away, 1-2. So now does he go, Paul, to the money pitch?
Obviously, the split finger, if you haven't brought it out yet, it is a dangerous pitch to throw in the dirt. Coney, you know that as well as anybody. You know, you haven't really have a feel for it yet because you haven't thrown it.
Line drive, a base hit to left field. LeMahieu scores. They'll hold Boyd at third. It's an RBI single for Stanton. Yankees on the board. It's 2-1 Angels.
I think Ohtani did him a favor, threw him like a little cutter, and it just kind of stayed there, which takes a little velocity off the pitch. You see Stanton out in front a little bit, but hooking into the left field. Good job by the Yankees to bounce back, take what he gives you.
So here's Gleyber Torres. Last 3 times up last night, 2 hits and a walk. 1-0. Now you see some stirring in that Angel bullpen. And Ohtani looking out there, he has to see it as well. The 1-0. Missed outside. 2-0. It's time to get stretching.
Shouldn't take too long.
Two and one.
It's not just the fact that, you know, we have an extremely hot day here. It's the first stretch of hot weather. Takes, you know, you can get accustomed to it as a ball player. Once you go through a few days or a few weeks, you get into July, you get used to the hot weather. The first one, boy, that's always the toughest. And we saw Ohtani in the dugout standing by the air conditioner.
That one's through for a base hit. Sanchez will stop at third. It's an RBI single for Torres, and the game is tied at 2 and still nobody out.
Hopefully this is another step for Gleyber Torres. A couple RBIs finally last night, but then a big hit right here. Ball up in the strike zone just enough where he can get around it and hook it into the hole on the left side. Goes through for an RBI single.
Out of the reach of Iglesias. Still nobody out. Still bases loaded. And Aaron Sluggers warming up. Here's Rougned Odor. Still having some trouble with the signs. And the pitch. Grounded foul. So just like that, the Yankees get the 2 runs back that Goslin put on the board with the 2-run home run.
Coney, is it me, or when I look at Ohtani, even in this jam, he still looks relaxed out there. It doesn't look like he's, you know, just in fast motion, grabbing the ball and just throwing it. He still looks confident, and there that splitter is, and you see how nasty it could be when he gets ahead.
Right on cue, Paul. The first one of the night, and Odor missed it by about 2 feet. But it's a great pickup, Paul, and he prides himself on a very calm mind and his demeanor on the mound.
Swing and a miss. There's that splitter. And he gets the first out of the inning.
Yeah, back-to-back and back-to-back nasty ones. I mean, from a player's point of view, you just don't pick up the spin of that. Comes out of the hand. You know, a lot of times you can pick up a change-up grip. You can't pick up a split finger grip, and the arm speed is exactly the same, and it drops. That's what makes it so difficult for a hitter to pick up.
And Duhar swings over a cutter.
You get up near a 65% strikeout rate with any one singular pitch. That is just ridiculous. But you're right, Paul. You have to get to it. The best splitters are designed to be out of the strike zone. So you got to throw strikes with something else.
Dials that up to 98 in the count 0-2. So he's in a splitter count now. The 0-2. That was the splitter. 1-2.
You got to figure he's going to see a couple of them here. He needs a strikeout. He's trying to save runs.
One-two. Broken bat, slow roller to Rendon. He'll take the out at first. A run scores. Yankees lead 3-2 on the RBI groundout.
Well, it's another thing about the split finger. There's no rhyme or reason why it goes which way or the other. And that ball actually went down and in and just shattered Andujar's bat, but he did put it in play. Kind of lucky the Yankees didn't hit it hard enough where they had to take the out at first base.
"34 pitches here for Ohtani. That's got to be concern for the Angels too. Guy's coming off Tommy John surgery as he starts off Frazier with a called slider strike. Second and third for the Yankees. 2 men out. Fouled the fastball back 0-2.
There's one thing we've learned from the medical data with regards to Tommy John surgeries, arm injuries, injuries in particular. It's that fatigue leaves pitchers susceptible to injury. And on a hot day in the first inning with the 37th pitch about to be delivered, that's why Schlegers is ready to go right now.
And that hits Frazier, and he'll take first base. And that reloads the bases, and Brett Gardner comes up.
That was a split finger. They're going to take a look, and yeah, it did. It hit either the handle or the padding of the hand from Clint Frazier. Ohtani didn't like it.
You know, he thinks it hits the knob of the bat, and he's, to me, that's a legitimate argument.
Well, this is not the way Ohtani envisioned it. He has really struggled here in a dreadful first inning. He has had no command. He's thrown 37 pitches, 17 of them balls. Bases are loaded again. The ninth batter comes to the plate. 1-0. You'd figure this is his last batter if he doesn't get Gardner. Schlegers is ready. 3-2 Yankees, looking for more. 2-0. Gardner will not help him out.
It's a little conversation with yourself as a hitter. You step out and you're like, he's struggling. Do I take a pitch or do I look for a pitch? You got to be committed before you get back into the box.
Ball 3. There's no gifts at all from John Lipka.
Been a couple of pitches in this inning right there on the top line, one to Voit and one here to Gardner, that have gone the hitter's way.
And the 3-0. He walked him on 4 pitches to force in a run. And the Yankees now lead 4-2, and that is going to do it for Shohei Ohtani. So brilliant the first 2 games as a hitter, but what a letdown in his pitching performance here. Let's see what Madden does. Does he keep him in the game? Does he move him to an outfield spot so he keeps his bat in the lineup? Now that's going to do it. That's the end of his day. Wow, that was shocking for a guy who came in with a mid-2 ERA. He really didn't have it here in the first inning. So they lose their leadoff hitter, they lose their starter, they go to the bullpen, and they're trailing. Well, Joe Madden is having an extended conversation with Shohei Ohtani, working through his interpreter. Ohtani has given up 4 runs, and the bases are loaded. They're all his responsibility. And that was a rough outing for Ohtani, and Aaron Slegers comes on. Well, the Yankees, this is the 10th batter to come to the plate. LeMahieu started the game with a walk. And there's a strike. LeMahieu has great numbers as a Yankee with the bases loaded. Grounded inside first and down the right field line. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. Here comes Gardner. He'll score. It's a bases clearing double for LeMahieu, and the Yankees are pouring it on. They lead 7-2.
I tell you what, I would have bet any amount of money you wouldn't look at a game starting like this with Ohtani with his numbers, but just a ball put in play, finds a hole, and Ward out here in right field, very lucky. This ball went underneath the pad, and he was able to stop it. Still cleared the bases, but a huge double for LeMahieu.
Well, that completes Ohtani's line. 7 runs in 2/3 of an inning, and that's going to kick up his ERA for sure.
.360 now. Ohtani's ERA 3.60.
Jumped a run.
Yes, a full run almost. Yeah.
You almost have to wonder. I will research it. That's got to be one of the worst starts of his life.
The key was the walks, the 4 walks that put himself into a jam, and then a couple of, Stanton with a nice piece of hitting on a cutter that kind of stayed outer third. Glaber's ball found the hole. DJ LeMahieu with a half swing down the line.
High fly ball. Center field. Lagares is there. And that'll do it. Now the Yankees score 7 runs on 3 hits. He came with all the hype, but he could not get the job done. He's been great as a hitter, but today as a pitcher, just 2/3 of an inning and losing 7-2. Well, the Yes app just got even better with the all-new Yes Edge feature. Just tap the Edge icon on the right of the screen to get starting lineups, player stats, interactive polls, fast facts, and so much more, all while simultaneously streaming the game live on your phone, tablet, or the web. So really, what are you waiting for? Scan the QR code to download the Yes app now and experience the all-new Yes Edge. Well, Sleggers is now leading off as Ohtani is out of the game. And that is the risk that you take by having Ohtani bat, as we mentioned, in a game in which he's pitching.
Yeah, the best laid plans out the window.
Now, one thing to consider, they have Scott Schebler as a lefty. They have Matt Stassi as a righty. And they have Luis Rengifo as a switch hitter. Those are the only guys on the bench as Iglesias goes up the middle for a base hit.
Well, it's basically a National League game for the Angels now. And Rendon essentially kind of the leadoff hitter. they're going to get some innings out of Schlegers, and they're going to have to probably have him bat. You know, of all the at-bats that first inning, it was Gary Sanchez's that set up the whole thing. Fouling off at some tough pitches, working that walk. Sanchez once again right in the middle of it. His was the best at-bat that whole inning.
Yeah, that came down to the Coney. That's a great pickup that you saw right there. I mean, that came down to that 3-2 slider that he fouled off, and then he ended up walking. And you're right, that just extended the inning, and it let Ohtani really lose it.
I think you also had a very important note, David, about the umpire. He was not giving him anything close.
Yeah, tight strike zone, you know, everything. Very accurate strike zone.
You know, look at some of the numbers, and I know it's not here in the major league, but 5 seasons as a pitcher, Ohtani. He was 42-17 with a 2.55 ERA, and that's when he was 18 to 22 years old. Those were his 5 years over there. All-Star every year, 1 ERA title, 565 innings, and 651 strikeouts. So I tell you one thing, he was doing something right over there.
Now that tight strike zone that got Ohtani, well, it's the same strike zone for Herman.
Yes. We talked about Domingo on this side. Had 3 straight kind of tough starts where he couldn't even make it through the 5th inning. Now has a 5-run lead.
You know, Coney, I know you've been asked this a million times, and we saw it yesterday with Taillon. The Yankees had an extremely long 4th inning, and it took him a while to get back in the groove. I mean, how big of a deal is that 20-minute, 30-minute delay before you take them out again?
You know, it could work either way. You know, a hot night, that could have given you a little bit of a breather. And you'll take the runs. Especially after he gave up a 2-run home run in the 1st inning. You go back out there and there's a 7th spot for you. I'll take that. That's
never a bad thing.
Yeah, I'll take that. The key is go after him, get aggressive.
Swing and a miss, got him with the changeup. Suzuki down on strikes.
I love that shot. You can see the side spin of that changeup. Off speed, but it's got like a sinking action to it.
On a 3-2 count, a hitter swinging at what he thought was a fastball, and that's the result.
Here's Taylor Ward. 1-0.
Brought to you by your Southern California.
2-0. Yankees lead 7-2. We're in the top of the 2nd inning as they've knocked out Shohei Ohtani. So if you tuned in to see Ohtani, you missed it. He got 2/3 of an inning, had no command whatsoever, walked the ballpark and got knocked out. Now, Meredith, you spoke to Herman yesterday?
Yeah, Michael, I asked him about his last 2 starts, and Paul, a little bit to what you were talking about. He said he needs to be in better control on the mound, get in rhythm, and stay in rhythm. Last 2 times out, he felt as though whenever he would find a rhythm, he would quickly get out of it. He also said he needs to do a better job understanding the situation and how to attack hitters. And Paul, to your point, in between innings, he mentioned that he needs to stay in the zone, stay focused, and concentrate on the task at hand. Here's a good test with a long layoff after last inning.
Missed outside, 3-0 on Ward. Now it's important to get this batter because the next batter is a number 9 batter, and you could pitch around that batter. As David said, it's now a National League game because you have sluggers due up after that. No one's warming in the bullpen. There's a strike. And the pitch. 3-2. Lagares is on deck. Three-two. Outside, he walked him. So first and second, 1 man out, and that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Lagares. Along with David Cohn, Paul O'Neill, and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us. And there's Aaron Sluggers, who's on deck. So we'll have a 6'10" hitter.
Might break the algorithm on the strike zone. That little
Does that
box.
box get that big?
Yeah, that little box is supposed to adjust.
6'10" version.
Yeah, that's what we're going to find out.
Drops a curveball in there for a strike. Inside, 1-1.
Domingo Germán really looks out of sorts right now. You know, anytime you see him missing side to side as badly as he is right now, either too quick or too slow. Either late with your release point or you're too early with it. Kind of getting a little side to side in his delivery instead of straight through the target.
Curveball swung on and missed, 1-2. Iglesias off second. Ward is off first. 1 man out. A 1-2 count on Juan Lagares. 7-2 Yankees are on the top of the 2nd inning. Lined. It is a base hit down the left field line. Iglesias will score easily. Ward rounds third. They'll hold him right there. It's a double for Lagares, and it's 7-3 Yankees.
I tell you what, it's got to be frustrating if you're Aaron Boone to see, you know, this 5-run lead all of a sudden kind of a backup slider, and Lagares just hammers it down the left field line. No chance for LeMahieu. But it does come into play now with Ohtani not being in the game. Obviously, Sluggers coming up. Will they pinch hit?
They are going to pinch hit. They have Schebler on deck, and they got the bullpen up right away because Madden's looking at this and said, well, here's my chance. I can't just give away this out. If he gets a single here, all of a sudden it's 7-5. So Sleggers is done, and they'll have to use a lot of their bullpen tonight. And that's why Matt Blake comes out to go over how they'll pitch to Schebler.
Yeah, inadvertently too, allowing Madden the time to get his reliever a little warmer, quicker.
Another friendly face over there, messing with the lineup card. Mike Gallego, played with in New York. Good middle infielder.
He is the bench coach for Madden. He also wore number 2 before a certain Hall of Famer got it.
You know, knowing Gallego, he probably pointed to that and told a lot of his players, you know, they retired my number out there. You see that, number 2?
Schebler swings and misses over the curveball, 0-1. (17 earned runs allowed in his last 13 2/3 innings. In the previous 53 2/3, just 14 earned runs. So quickly ahead of Schebler, 0-2. It's Alex Claudio who's warming in the bullpen. And for the Yankees, it's Luis Sessa. Boy, it seems like Sessa's been warming up a lot lately. Infield is back. A ground ball will get another run. One and two.
Can tell Gary Sanchez imploring Domingo Germán to come through me. His alignment is off, and that's why he's having trouble with his curveball and kind of leaving it on the plate. Pitchers get east and west with their delivery, meaning their shoulders are flying open. That's when the pitches start going astray. Pitchers are marksmen. It's all about alignment. Like shooting a bow and arrow. Where's my target? Where's my aim? Get all your momentum going to that point. Germán having a hard time doing that.
Missed inside. Gary tried to bring that back.
Schebler tried to take one for the team too, sticking his elbow in there.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him. Big strikeout for Germán.
He's shaking his head. Very fortunate. This ball's outside the strike zone. With Lipka back there, you're not going to get a called strike. He was lucky that Schebler went after it.
Well, that'll bring up the dangerous Anthony Rendon. Fastball strike, 0-1.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about Rendon because it's been kind of the Ohtani show, but they brought him over as a huge free agent a few years ago, the year 2 of a $245 million deal over 7 years. So he's a little behind what they expected. He's had a couple stints on the IL this year. So good, solid player. Remember him part of the Nationals during their World Series year.
That one is ripped to left field. It hangs up there for Andujar. And Germán escapes big trouble. He allows 1 run but strands 2. It's 7-3. Now let's check out tonight's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Doing More. It's about Mike Trout. Strained his right calf on May 17th. He was transferred to the 60-day IL on Monday. That's just clerical work. He might be about 2 weeks away. He'll begin rehab assignment after the All-Star break, so he's eligible to return on July 17th. So when he injured it, they said he'd be out 6 to 8 weeks. It's a couple of days over 6 weeks, so it's going to be on the long end of the 8 weeks. And that's a big loss, obviously, for any team. So Alex Claudio will take over. And he does not throw hard. He's a side-arming lefty, 85 miles an hour average fastball, but a very good changeup.
That's why they call relievers firemen. Well, this is the ultimate fireman work here. The bell rang. You're in this game now. Get ready.
So it'll be Sanchez, Stanton, and Torres. And there's a strike. Well, he used to be with the Rangers, and their bullpen coach, Brad Holman, pretty much described what makes him effective. He said hitters have become desensitized to velocity. It's just a completely different look, and he's a command-first guy and from a funky slot. Lined into left center field. It is going to be a base hit in front of Goslin. So Sanchez picks up a single to start off the second inning.
Gary Sanchez off the end of the bat. That changeup, you see him over and just like floats it in there. But by hitting it off the end of the bat, it dunks into left field.
Here's Stanton, RBI single in that 7-run first inning. The lefty Claudio deals, pitch outside.
Just seems like with each growing at bat for Gary Sanchez, he gets more and more comfortable with his new style of hitting. You could speak to that a lot better. That's so difficult to do, to change what he's always done. But it's the buy-in. He looks like he's buying in now. And he had that great at bat in that first inning, as I said, that really, I thought, set up that whole inning and kind of rattled Ohtani a little bit.
Average now up to 240. There's a strike, 2-1.
You know, Coney, to your point, a lot of times when you make an adjustment, that's a major adjustment. It's not just a minor thing with your hands or something. You know, it takes a while, and you've almost seen instant success from Sanchez when he changed. So it makes it much easier.
Base hit for Stanton. He's 2 for 2.
We said it last night, just up and down this lineup, you're just seeing better at bats. And, you know, you kind of hold your breath because the Yankees have spoiled you before, but it's a day-to-day, night-to-night thing to keep this rhythm going offensively and try to get something going on that win streak.
We talk a lot about getting an early lead in the game, how important that is psychologically for the whole team. The pitcher, the residual effect. With the construct of this Yankee lineup, it's even more important. Score those runs, get that lead before those big right-handed relievers come in the game and try to find their lane against all these right-handed bats.
Yeah, you do wonder about the choice of going to Claudio. I know he's funky and doesn't have great velocity, but there's there's 7 righties in the lineup and just 2 lefties. You're really playing into the Yankee hands by bringing the left-hander.
I think Joe Madden probably figured he was the most suitable reliever to get ready quickly.
High fly ball, right field. Back is Ward. Boy, that carried. Tagging is Sanchez, and the throw comes in the second. I think we got a little look at the heat here today.
Yes, I mean, it's breezy here. The flags are blowing out. It's hot as all get out. We haven't really seen a lot of long fly balls yet, but the ball will carry tonight if you get it up.
So here's Rougned Odor, one of the 2 Yankees that Ohtani was able to retire. Struck him out on a splitter. First and third, 1 man out. Yankees looking for more as they lead 7-3, and the Angels looking for a double play. Pitch outside. Two and 0. Three and 0. And Duhar is on deck. And he walked him on 4 pitches to load the bases.
Joe Madden even looks confused at this strike zone. I mean, there are no gimmies out there, Cody. So if you're struggling as a pitcher at all, it's going to be a tough night.
What a great facial expression there from Joe Madden looking at the umpire. Don't have to say a word.
Here's Miguel Andujar. 1-0. He had an RBI ground out on a broken back grounder to third in the 7-run first inning.
Just thinking, you know, I was looking around, you look at the bullpens, you know they're going to be active tonight. Managers are starting to panic a little bit. You know, the best seat in the house, you know, a lot of good seats here at Yankee Stadium, is the crow's nest in the bullpens. Those guys sitting up in the crow's nest, kind of elevated above the wall. That bird's eye view right there, that's the best seat in the house. Nestor Cortez knows, he's right there. Hot night, looking right over the wall.
Let's see if they can turn 2. There's 1, and there's 2. That's exactly what Claudio and the Angels needed. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left on base. We'll go to the third. It's time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. Well, tonight's picture was submitted by Mike Dolce. His son Dominic was lucky enough to grab a foul ball at the stadium this season. Good job. Dominic, use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post your picture to social media to reflect your love for the Yankees, and we might spotlight you in a future game. Well, Tyler Wade moves in right field. Remember, Frazier did get hit in that first inning. And Walsh wraps one to left field. Catch is made by Andujar. One away. Well, you would think the bench is very short now for Aaron Boone. Judge needs a day, or Urshela needs a day. You really have Higashioka left over. I would think that Judge or Urshela probably could play in an emergency. He did say both are available. Paul, were you a little surprised when the lineups came out and all of a sudden there's no Judge and no Urshela, and according to Boone there's no injury, it's just that they needed a day?
Yeah, I was, and I tell you why, because in the post game last night, Meredith was talking to Aaron Judge, and he was already kind of focusing on facing Ohtani tomorrow, which was today. So usually those lineups and those days off are pretty much told to the player beforehand. So it was like he was already preparing. So I was surprised to see Judge out of the lineup.
How about you, David?
Yeah, I mean, certainly they're privy to much more information than we have up here, and a lot of times we don't know what's really going on. But with all that being said, it's a bad optic in the sense of the show. I mean, we've been pumping this matchup up. There's a lot of walk-ups here in terms of fannies in the seats. It's a big night. It's a big game.
And you're right. They know things that we don't know, but you do wonder. Most players would want to face Ohtani, and did they fight to get in the lineup, and were they told simply not? You cannot. And it's just it came off as unusual, and the way that Aaron Boone expressed it to the media, it seemed a little odd. He did say he had a conversation with Judge, and they were both on the same page. This is Judge's second rest day in 6 weeks. He comes into today. Now that tie will be broken. He's played in it more games than any other Yankees, tied with DJ LeMahieu. He's played a lot. But tomorrow's an afternoon game. He could be off then, and they decided to rest them both today. And it does show you that the long-term ramifications for a team far outweigh the entertainment value. I mean, it is an entertainment business, and you expect that you want to see Judge against Ohtani, but the Yankees are worried about the whole season, not about, putting on a show tonight, if that makes sense. As Fletcher works a walk.
It's a great point, Michael. The balance between the fact that this is a show, there's entertainment value, as you said, and medical data. And your staff, your medical staff, advising you one way about what's the best way for long-term health. Those two things tend to bump heads a lot of times.
Here's Iglesias against Herman. Iglesias had a very good series against the Yankees. He has 6 hits and 9 at-bats. Had a single in the second and scored a run. It's 7-3 Yankees over the Angels. Snap throw, diving back is Fletcher. I was texting with one of the people from the teams that you guys played on, and they said there's no way any of our big guys would have been out against Pedro. I mean, it was that they wanted to play against him, but it's a different world now. It's just a different sport, and it's run differently. But I'm sure Paul O'Neill didn't love facing Randy Johnson, but he was in there occasionally.
I tell you one thing, Mike, and to your point, and it's a great point, that it was almost like you were dodging somebody if you weren't in the lineup. Did I want to face Pedro? Did I want to face Coney? Did I want to face Clemens? No. I'd rather face some scrub that I was going to get some hits off of. But you were part of a team that you showed up with the best team to try to beat the best pitchers. And, you know, you never wanted to be seen as somebody that was trying to dodge a pitcher so you could face somebody the next day.
And that's just the optics. We're not saying that that's what's happening here, but that's the optics where people can interpret that. And this was a day that was not a day to dodge Ohtani, it seemed like. 1-2.
That's why we have sports talk radio shows for these kind of topics. Give you content to work with.
Well, we got a lot of time so far tonight. We can do a little sports talk as we go.
There's Gio Urshela, also not in the lineup today. Knocked down by Herman. Quick hands. And he throws the ball past Boyd. Fletcher's at third. He'll stop right there. Iglesias will go to second. I don't know if he handcuffed Boyd. Boyd had no chance at that. But we'll take a look.
Over's thrown up the line. Last thing a first baseman wants to do is reach into the runner. But Herman had some issues fielding in Boston, too. And you see Luke Voigt just said,
Now that was strange.
Herman dropped down sidearm, got a little careless with the throw and up the line.
So now this turns into a huge at bat for Suzuki. Buzzed him upstairs. Did it hit him? Yes, it did. So now the bases are loaded. Well, they just changed the Iglesias ground ball to an E3 that Voigt did not reach in, and that the ball was catchable according to the official scorer. You take a look.
I almost wonder if he didn't pick up the ball from that sidearm angle, Coney. A lot of times, you know, if you zip one over as a pitcher, you don't have a lot of time to react. But it looked like Luke Voigt was looking for the ball in one area and couldn't reach back, or he didn't pick up the ball. One of the two.
Well, Luke Voigt's in the lineup for his bat. Put it that way. You know, even though it wasn't a good throw. How many times have we seen Don Mattingly switch his feet, switch over to the other inside bag and make that play? You know, a really adept Gold Glove style first baseman can adjust right there.
Boy, how about, you'll see Herman pick this up and sidearm it. How about the vagaries of the game? The Yankees knock out Ohtani. They score 7 runs in the first. We're in the 3rd inning, and now the tying runs at the plate for the Angels. Taylor Ward is up. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Sessa's up again in the bullpen.
Who's the official scorer today? Is that Howie?
It sounded like Howie.
It's a gutsy call.
Howie being Howie Carpin. 1-1. There's no place to put Ward. Fletcher is at third. Iglesias at second. Suzuki's at first. time is called. Big cut on the change, 1-2. Big spot in this game. And the pitch outside, 2-2. Well, this will be the 70th pitch for Herman with 2 outs in the 3rd. And the pitch outside, 3-2. So now you can start the merry-go-round. Everybody will be going 3-2, 2 outs.
Coney, it seems like the changeup is the pitch that he's been able to go to when he needs a strike. His curveball, he had a few early in the 1st inning, but then hasn't been able to throw it. And I think it's what you said. He's kind of missing side to side. He hasn't been able to pinpoint his fastball or his curveball.
3-2. Grounded foul outside of 3rd.
Right on cue, Paul. There's a changeup right there on a 3-2 count. The frustrating part when you're on the mound is that you make the pitch right where you want to, and the hitter fouls it off. Now you got to do it again.
Runners will go. 3-2, 2 outs here in the 3rd. 7-3 Yanks. High fly ball, shallow center. And a nice play by Gleyber Torres to end the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and the bases are left loaded. Well, the first 2 days in New York, it was all greatness for Shohei Ohtani. Not tonight. The disappointment of a failed outing. Just 2/3 of an inning, 7 runs. He's not used to this. And he was out of the game without completing 1 inning. The Yankees had 7 runs in that first inning. And they lead 7-3 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and threatening skies above Yankee Stadium right now.
I think Joe Madden's doing a rain dance.
No doubt about it.
Well, our good buddy Danny Cunningham, the head groundskeeper, had a long talk with Dan Iasonia, showed him the ever-present iPad, so there's something on its way. There's Danny. Paul, I got to tell you something. You probably don't sense it, but Cone and I, we are a sloppy mess today. It is hot.
Well, it's going to cool off here. You get a little rainstorm. Might as well just go out and run around, jump on the tarp or something.
There's a strike to Tyler Wade.
My face feels like a Krispy Kreme glazed donut right now.
Very sloppy, Paul, both of us.
Peel off a layer and another one just adds right up.
You know, how can sloppy get to a beautiful glazed donut, man? Those two things don't go together.
No. A glazed donut is fun to look at, not Coney's face.
I see Meredith in the back. She's got her hair up. It's too hot to put on the back, huh?
It's a little warm back here, Paul. Not going to lie to you. I have a great view of David and Michael sweating. It's about 105 in the booth right now.
Nice.
Don't let anyone ever tell you I'm not a lucky girl.
Very nice. What a compliment, Michael.
I'm not quite hearing it that way, but. 1-2 on Wade. Sliced the other way. It is a base hit. And he's going to be held at first. Nice play by Goslin to cut that off down the line.
I'll tell you, one of the quicker guys in the league, Tyler Wade, and you're right. Goslin got to this ball and got it in because he was thinking double all the way. See the play right in front of you. Good decision by Wade. That must be fun to run that fast, Coney, huh? It kind of hurts now even looking at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Well, the lefty has walked the lefty Odor. He's allowed a single to the lefty Wade, and now here's the lefty Gardner. And you see the flags over the grandstand here at the stadium. They are starched straight out as the wind is picking up, bringing the weather into the area. Keeping Wade close. It's 7-3 Yankees are on the bottom of the third. Dylan Bundy, who started the first game of this 4-game set, is warming up. So he's not listed amongst the relief pitchers, but he must have volunteered to give innings. Maybe his throw day after the shortened outing that he had on Monday when he got sick behind the mound. One 1-0 on Gardner. And for the Yankees, just activated Justin Wilson. Getting ready. You know, one thing that people don't realize, maybe they do, and everybody's clamoring for robot umpires. You're going to have games like this. If you're going to call everything exactly to the letter, there's just, the games will take forever because pitchers are not used to throwing it right over the plate.
There's a couple of different ways to look at that.
Okay.
You know, I've used the iPhone reference in terms of the strike zone, the changes from the 1990s, really back to the 70s. Jim Palmer strike zone, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine strike zone, mine and Paul's, to now. There's a lot more high strikes called too. The real estate is the same. It's just the rectangle is north and south now. It used to be east and west. And I think that causes a lot of strikeouts. That's another variable in today's game. We talk about a lot of strikeouts, and Paulie and you and I had that conversation about strikeouts in the game in a couple of broadcasts ago. I think the high strike, there's a lot of high curveballs called now that I never got called in the 90s, that we never saw. We called those ugly curveballs back then. You didn't want to throw them up there. Now you get rewarded at the top of the line. That's led to more strikeouts, I think. Everybody wants to blame, the launch angle or the nerds. It's the strike zone, too. It's a big part of it.
So if you're going to go robot, though, would you have to shrink it a little bit?
That's the debate. That's what they did in the 60s, that with the Gibson year in 1968. They lowered the mound and the strike zone. The strike zone's going to creep back up higher.
3-2 on Gardner.
It's a big deal. I think that the perception is that it's harder than ever to throw strikes, because you look back at the old videos and we used to get off the plate a lot of margin off the plate. We never got the high strikes called in the 90s. Especially high curveballs. You see that regularly now. And robo umps would ring those up right and left.
He walked him. First and second, nobody out. And that's going to bring up DJ LeMahieu, and it brings us to the Home Depot getting more done. He has an 18-game on-base streak, hitting .351 during the streak, 4 homers and 18 ribbies, and he had 15 ribbies in the first 58 games. Also, the double that he had in the first inning, that extended his hitting streak to 13 straight. So that's going to do it for Claudio, as Joe Madden's going to go to the bullpen again. Dylan Bundy will come in first and second, nobody out. Well, great news, Yankee fans. Not only is Yankee Stadium back to 100% capacity, and with negative COVID testing and vaccination requirements lifted, tickets for the rest of the 2021 season are now on sale at Yankees.com. With the Subway Series coming up, great matchups with the Red Sox and Phillies, as well as some great promotional giveaways. You're going to want to be at Yankee Stadium this summer, so make sure you visit Yankees.com to purchase tickets.